Hey, good afternoon. Sunday again. It's time to prepare the food for the week. I'm preparing food for both of us, but I'm going to show you what I eat in the course of the week. So the first thing is, I want to show you this meat. Notice this is like basically $100 worth of tenderloin and $100 worth of awesome looking wild salmon. Now the reason you want wild salmon is if you do a little reference research, you'll find out that farm-raised salmon doesn't have the same nutritional content, doesn't have the same protein, anything, compared to wild salmon. And you can see it when you look at the salmon. When you look at it in the showcase, you can see that the wild salmon is going to be really a dark, rich color, really nice, and that the farm-raised stuff is going to be really faded, a lighter, much lighter color. Generally, this is more, and sometimes it's harder to find it, especially if out of season. You may not be able to get it everywhere, but it's what I do. All I can show you is what I do. So when I tell you food is the most anabolic substance you can put in your body, and people want to still believe it. Well, what about the drugs? What about the drugs? Look, do you think? I'm a practical guy. If you've watched any of my videos, you probably have gotten that by now, at least. I'm a practical, regular guy. I work hard. If I could save the money, and I didn't think it was necessary for my physique to eat this, I wouldn't spend this kind of money if all I had to do is get a couple bottles of drugs. If I could just take the drugs, why? If the drugs did it, and I must be taking gobs of drugs that look like this then, and that's what does it, why the hell would I spend this much money on this fucking food? And then we got eggs, of course. There's my Fairlife. I drink one of these a day. Again, no lactose in it. 50% more protein. Then I have one of these a day. Yeah. It's a little bit of sodium. It's not a killer. It's not horrible. You'd be surprised. It's 75% juice, real juice, and 25% filtered water. Then I have my Isopure. There's two different kinds of protein powders that I employ. I use the BPI Iso HD, which is whey isolate and hydroslate isolate. Okay, I use that. It depends on what time of the day. And then I use MyoFusion Gaspari Nutrition. And this is isolate, and it's a time release type of protein, more or less. This I would use, probably before bed. If I hadn't made my numbers that I need to hit, I might take this before bedtime. And generally I do. This, I'm going to probably take one scoop of this and one scoop of that first thing in the morning when I get up out of bed. That's where it all starts. Then I've got my multivitamin, Antivite, Gaspari Nutrition, 6 of these a day, 3 in the morning, 3 in the evening. Liposomal vitamin C, which is awesome for the immune system, right? Incredible for, look, believe me, I wouldn't spend this money. I mean, this shit's like 30 some dollars. These fucking vitamins, none of this is inexpensive. I wouldn't buy this shit if I didn't think I needed it. If it didn't do good for my body, if I didn't need it for what I do, I wouldn't buy it. Then of course, all the greens that I eat, not just drinking this just keeps me covered, drinking this V8. Then the rest of the greens, a lot of asparagus, a lot of broccoli, a lot of leafy vegetables too, but this week, had so much leafy stuff last week, this week I'm going this route more. Then of course, here's my oatmeal in the morning. Only in the morning, one of these. First thing in the morning, that's after I get to work. This is the first solid thing I'll eat. Then I've got these MHP Power Pack proteins, which I think are awesome. They're 30 grams, 200 calories, sugar-free, gluten-free, lactose-free. So that's not bad, 30 grams of protein. This is a snack. This is first thing in the morning. My yogurts, which you don't see here, I'll have the yogurts. That's a snack also in the day. And I got to prepare all this food. I cook it on these cedar boards. Not the beef, but I cook the salmon on these cedar boards. I like how that comes out. And I use, rather than a soy sauce, I use these amino acids that you can buy that I pour over top of the fish in replacement of soy sauce. In fact, Let me show it to you. There we go, I see it. A little help from my assistant. This is what I use in place of soy sauce. I use this. Liberal helpings. I let the fish soak in it in baggies before I cook it. The boards have to soak for 30 minutes minimum before they go on the grill. So I'm going to cut this here. Then I'm going to show you how I fix it, what it looks like. Then I'm going to show you what a day's worth looks like laid out as I put it in the lunchbox for the morning. And that way you can see exactly how it's done. And again, believe me, if it was just a drug I could take and this wasn't doing what it needs to do for me, why would I spend this kind of money on this? I've been doing this decades. Not 10 years, not 20 years, probably 30 years. And this is what works for me. I mean, this will make me bigger. This will make me harder. This is what works. So if you want to get there, there's many ways to do it. Are there guys that probably do more drugs? I know there are. You know, I saw a couple guys today that do more drugs, but they don't look like me. You know what I mean? How many guys in the gym are on all kind of drugs? A lot of guys. I saw a guy on a bunch of Tren today. I don't know what else he's taking, but I'll tell you what, either the shit he's taking is not real, or he doesn't know how to train. I've seen this guy for a couple of years now. I'm not even gonna say where, because I don't want to put him out there like that and embarrass him, but after a few years, dude, if you look identical, and you just look like a semi-fit guy, you don't even look like really somebody that absolutely must lift weights. You don't even look like that. What are you going to pump these drugs in you for? Aren't you going to ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? All the drugs, and you don't see a lot of guys walking around like me. Everybody's on fucking drugs. You know, is the testosterone important? Fuck yeah, it's important. It's male. It's primary, predominant male hormone. As far as it's you got to have it. When you get older guys, TRT, hormone replacement therapy, fucking way to go. You got to have it. There's no way around that. But it's the food that does it. This is the difference. Anybody can take the drugs. This is the difference. All right, so be back in a little bit. Hey guys, I'm back. I cooked all the food, weighed it all out for both of us, split it all up so that we're good to go. We just grab it and go now. The thing about weighing your food is you'll find reference material and charts where you can come up with how much protein is in it per ounce or per so many ounces. I break it down to the math per ounce, makes it easier. It's going to be different if you're considering it before cooking or after cooking, and sometimes it's different depending upon the cut of meat, like when you get to things like beef. And like I've said before, it's going to be different if you're talking about farm raised or if you're talking about wild salmon and things like that. So make sure that you know what you're doing when you get your information and you're ready to go. I like to weigh it after cooking, because if you weigh it prior to cooking, you're weighing the water and all this stuff, the moisture, you're going to cook out some of it. It actually is denser after cooking, so it's two different numbers. So I weigh it all after cooking. I think it's more accurate. It may not be 100%, but it's closer. So here's what one day looks like. Well, this is first thing in the morning. I have 6 eggs. Normally these will be scrambled and with some cheese. I'll put some fat-free cheese in there. 6 eggs. First thing in the morning, it's 36 grams. Okay. Then I'll get to work. I have my oatmeal. And that's going to be doesn't count. It's just my carbs. It's 190 calories, 7 grams of protein, which I don't even count, 5 grams of fiber, and it has, 36 grams of carbs. All right, first thing. And then next thing I will have is I'll have my shake mixed up. Now first in the morning, my shake is going to be this BPI. It's 100% whey protein isolate and hydroslate. And it'll end up being 50 grams of protein. And what I mix it with, I will mix it with this Fairlife. Fat-free. Now this Fairlife, no lactose. This bottle of Fairlife, believe it or not, contains 91 grams of protein. I just round it off, say 90 grams, make it easy. Okay, 90 grams of protein. So between this whole bottle of Fairlife and my 50 gram shot here, we're talking about 140 grams. Now I don't drink this all at one time. What I do is I mix it up in my shaker, and I can't fit all this in the shaker, but I'll start to drink it and sip on it, you know, as I get through the morning. And I'll top it up with this as it starts to get low, shake it up, top it up, shake it up. So over the course of however long it takes me to consume this, you know, I just have this constant trickle. All right, so that takes care of that. Then kind of during here in between, whenever, I'll have my yogurt. And this yogurt is 0% milk fat and non-fat, of course, 100 calories, 11 grams of carbs, 9 grams of sugar, 14 grams of protein. So this counts for another 14 grams of protein. Then the next thing I'll have will be my salmon. This piece of salmon is 63 grams of protein in this piece of salmon. It's already been weighed out, already been figured out. This is 63 grams. I mark them all because if they're a couple grams different, you know, in case at the end I end up with a small one, it's only 50 something or whatever. So this one's 63. So I'll have that next. Then I'll have my pudding as a snack, which is going to be my, you know, this MHP Power Pack. This bad boy is 1.5 grams of saturated fat, 5 grams of fat, 30 grams of protein, 7 grams of carbohydrate. So there you go, the carbs are pretty low for the day there. There's 30 grams of protein. I'll have that. Then I'll have an Isopure, you know, in the afternoon. This is 40 grams. And then I will have my beef. And this beef is going to be, it's already been weighed out. This is 51 grams of protein, this piece of tenderloin. And, you know, I'll have some broccoli and I'll have some asparagus in there with that. Sometimes I'll take extra greens in another container, you know, just to snack on. Also throughout the day, I drink 4 of these Smart Waters. If I'm not drinking Smart Water, then I'm bringing water from my house and having my well water because I know what's in that. It's been tested. You know, first thing I get out, I have 3 of these Anavites and I have 3 more before I go to bed. Of course, my V8, Healthy Greens, 75% juice, 25% filtered water. Throughout the day, I sip on this as well. I drink this down. This contains 14 grams of carbohydrates per serving, and there's 6 servings in here. So my carbs aren't crazy, but they're still, you know, for me that's low. Usually when I diet down, last time I competed and dieted down, my protein was over 600 grams a day, and my carbohydrates were about 5 or 6 as well. So it's a lot different with carbohydrates. The protein's not as high as it used to be, but I'm not as big as I was. And right about there, I'm heading home. Now, this beef, that might be eaten on the way home. It might be eaten first thing when I get home for my dinner. It may not, but then when I get home, my pre-bed thing is going to be another shake. MyoFusion, you know, Gaspari Nutrition, gluten-free, low-fat, 25 grams of protein, so it's 2 scoops of this, that's 50 grams. And it's 6 grams of carbohydrate, it equals 12 grams of carbs there. So I have this pre-bedtime, because this is a time-released, you know, barrage of various blends of protein, all pretty high-quality shit. Anyway, you get the gist of it. That's my pre-bedtime protein. If I get hungry, whatever I haven't eaten the day, once I get home, you know, I'll make up for it then. You know, like I said, I may have the beef at home. I may have eaten the beef earlier in the day. May not have eaten the eggs. I may eat them when I come home. I may not have eaten one thing and I may want to trade it up. I have chicken already prepared, which I didn't show you, because we always have chicken prepared. So I may want to have a piece of chicken breast or whatever anyway. So there's room for me to have a little bit of variety in there. And end of the day, like this example for tomorrow, I should end up with 417 grams of protein. So basically that's where I'm at right now. I don't count, you know, nickel and dime the carbs like that. Compared to where I normally am at, I'm much, much lower right now. And with the protein this high and with the feedings this frequently, I'm getting the result I want, speeding up my metabolism, making me feel hot already all the time. And I'm definitely getting harder, I'm getting tighter, and I'm still getting bigger. So, you know, I don't get the pumps I got without the higher carbs, but, you know, it's a trade-off. It is what it is. There's a method to the madness. So this is just one idea what you can kind of do. This is one day's food for me, and you know, I don't know how anybody else necessarily does it, but this is how I do it.